Am I the a-hole for doing chores while my landlord was fixing my door? So I, a 23-year-old female, am living in an apartment with my partner that is essentially the bottom floor of a 2-story house, and my landlord, a woman in her 50s, occupies the upstairs apartment. Over the past couple of weeks, my landlord has been coming down to fix my door because the plate in the doorway fell out. The other day, I had just gotten home from work when she texted asking if she could come down to finish the repair, so I told her yes. I went inside and decided to do some cleaning up while waiting for her since I knew I was going away for the weekend, and I would honestly rather do the cleaning and prepare for my dinner before getting showered and comfortable. The landlord showed up while I was dealing with my recycling. I let her in, then went back to breaking down all the boxes and stacking cans inside each other so I could fit as much as possible in one bag before taking it out. The landlord and I made some small talk about our jobs, upcoming vacations, and such. She cracked a joke about how I must want to get cleaned up from my job. I work long shifts at a somewhat messy job, and I said I was fine and wanted to get some chores done first. I continued breaking down boxes and chatting. She finished up, and as she was leaving, she asked me directly if I did not trust her to be in the apartment alone. I was honestly really surprised by the question and asked why she'd think that. She told me that nobody breaks down boxes for their recycling at home, and that it was clear I was just finding excuses to keep her in my line of sight. I laughed because I thought she was making a joke, and said that I like to break down boxes to save room and make fewer trips. She then brought up a previous situation from a few months back, where she had to come down a couple of times with her boyfriend to make some minor repairs in the bathroom, and it took a while, like a week, for them to find the right time because their work schedules and mine and my partner's work schedules do not align very well. My partner and I had made it clear when trying to set a date that one of us would prefer to be present. She said my messing around in the kitchen the entire time she was there fixing the door made it seem like my partner, and I did not trust her to be alone in the apartment and thought she would snoop, and that we looked like we had something to hide. I told her that I kind of understood where she was coming from, but that my partner and I just like to be present in case we are needed and also like to be aware of what is changing and how when repairs are made. The landlord just shrugged and said she feels a little excluded in her own home and hopes we can be more neighborly in the future. I said, okay, I hope so too, and she left looking kind of upset. This was on Thursday and I still feel so weird about it. I told my partner, who thinks the landlord was being inappropriate, but I am wondering if maybe there is something I am missing. Was I at fault? The better question would be, why does she want to be alone in your apartment without you there? That's creepy. Not the a-hole, and heck no, I would not trust her with comments like that. I would ensure that either I or my partner was always present anytime she was there in the future. That is just too weird. Am I the a-hole for exposing my dad's secret marriage? I, a 17-year-old female, found out my recently divorced dad had been dating someone for a couple of months. I met her for the first time yesterday. We went to lunch. It went well, and she seemed nice enough, but I was getting strange vibes from both of them. My dad seemed really nervous about it, which makes sense because I was meeting his new girlfriend, and he had only divorced my mom 4 months prior. The whole meeting just felt off, and I got suspicious because I found out they had been on a vacation together the week before. That probably does not seem odd to most people, but for him, that is very out of character. My dad is very Mormon, as is his new girlfriend. His religion is very against sex before marriage, but them spending a week alone together and the way they were acting made me think they had done it. I could not care less about my dad's sex life, but for him, it was weird. So I decided to search his name on the public marriage search, and to my surprise, I found out he had gotten married to this lady right before their vacation, which I assume now was their honeymoon. I was completely shocked because he had not told anyone, and I had only met the woman one time. I called my cousin, whom I am close with, to talk to him about what I had found out. I was not really thinking about it much. I just needed to get it off my chest and discuss what I should do. It turns out, after the call, my cousin told his mom, my dad's sister, who was shocked, and she texted my dad about it, asking if he was actually married. As I understand it, she was very supportive and was not trying to accuse him, just trying to get clarification. He lied and told my aunt he was not married, and that I am a compulsive liar, and that I have borderline personality disorder. He also said that I caused his and my mom's divorce because I manipulated my mom to hate him, and that I just wanted attention. He started trying to convince my aunt, cousin, and even my younger brother that I made it all up. I was fed up with him lying, so I sent them all the marriage certificate to prove that I did not lie. He is now upset with me and says I should not have told anyone, that it was his secret, and that I betrayed his trust. Am I the a-hole? He lied and told my aunt he was not married, and that I am a pathological liar, and that I have borderline personality disorder. He also said that I caused his and my mom's divorce because I manipulated my mom to hate him, and that I just wanted attention. He started to try to convince my aunt and cousin, and even my younger brother, that I made it all up. Is "thou shalt not bear false witness" not a commandment in the Latter-day Saints religion? Edited to add, not the a-hole. Would I be the a-hole for excluding a family with a badly behaved, autistic child from the neighborhood pool party? I host a monthly pool party and barbecue for the neighborhood families. I purchase about $200 worth of steaks, hot dogs, and drinks, book the community party room, and send out invitations and reminders. It has become a great way for the adults to connect and catch up while the kids swim and play. One of the neighborhood boys does not behave appropriately. For example, he splashes kids in the face when they ask him not to, pushes kids into the pool, calls them names, growls at kids if they win a game, and does not follow the rules of games, among other things. It is unpleasant for the other kids, and he makes the younger ones cry. His mom yells and threatens to take him home, but she does not, so he continues misbehaving. I am not well informed on autism. However, my stance is that the parents are responsible for ensuring their kids behave appropriately or removing them. Instead, other parents have to get involved to yell at the kid to leave theirs alone or to comfort their crying child. After the last party, 2 of the kids asked me not to invite that boy again because he ruined the day for them. I agree with them and believe that part of my responsibility as a host is to create a guest list of people who add positively to the event. My husband disagrees because, 1, he thinks I should first bring up the issue to the boy's parents and give him one more chance. 2, we cannot actually exclude them since it is a community pool. And 3, he is just conflict avoidant and does not want to ruin relations with neighbors. What do you think? Would I be the a-hole? Update. Thank you all for the advice. I decided to speak with the parents and tell them that I am in a difficult position as the event host who wants to ensure my guests' safety and enjoyment. I will explain the impact on my guests when the mom did not remove the misbehaving boy, and that I am now hesitant to host another event. I will listen to their response, hopefully apologetic and proactive, and go from there. For those of you debating whether I can or cannot ban the family from the community pool, that is not the point here. My question was about the etiquette around not inviting someone to a recurring event. I am, unfortunately, very familiar with having to parent other people's out-of-control kids in order to protect my own. It is frustrating, mostly because I am not getting paid to watch your child in public just because you decided to take your child to a children's museum with no intention of interacting with them. End of rant. This one child is not only putting other children in real danger. A pool is not the place for roughhousing and bullying, but he is also ruining the day for the parents too. In my opinion, it is time for his mom to learn that if she cannot behave appropriately in public, then she is not invited. Her child is an extension of her and her responsibility. You are not ostracizing a child, you are setting boundaries with his mom, not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's wife that I am sorry, but she is not my mom? I am a 16-year-old male who was the product of what was essentially a friends with benefits type of relationship between my dad, who was 33 at the time, and my mom, who was 22. My mom did not want to be a parent, but my dad did not want her to have an abortion. From what little I have been told, there was an agreement where my mom would leave, and my dad would raise me on his own, but she could re-enter my life if she ever chose to do so. For the first 7 years of my life, it was just my dad and me. He did not date anyone else. It was just the 2 of us and his family. I remember my mom would send me gifts on my birthday and Christmas with letters attached. I recall her family doing the same. When I turned 7, my mom came back into my life, and I started spending time with her. She would take me to parks, zoos, and aquariums, among other places. I also met her family. I loved this, even though now I know my dad did not like how my mom suddenly reappeared wanting to spend time with me. However, he did warm up to the idea over time. I still maintain contact with my mom. I do not see her as often as before, but I still love and visit her as much as possible. There was no conflict with this situation until I was 14, when my dad met a new woman. I will call her A for this. My dad and I started dating when I was 14 and married when I was 15. I brought her twin 15-year-old sons from her previous relationship into the new marriage. I have a good relationship with my stepbrothers. I have a decent relationship with A, but 2 things always bothered me. 1, how my dad seemed to rush into marrying A. He proposed to her 3 months into their relationship. And 2, A wanted me to call her mom the day I met her. She had 2 reasons for this. 1, I did not have a mom and she believed I needed one, and 2, she wanted our family to feel more united. I always just shrugged this off because when my dad married A, it felt like he completely forgot about me and did not care about me. I also felt it was not my place to complain. This is the background of all this. We are now a year into my dad and A's marriage. A's birthday is coming up, and we all bought her gifts, but she said she does not like physical ones and wants a more verbal gift from me. Last night at dinner, I learned what this was. She asked me if I would agree to let her adopt me so she could be my mom. It caught me off guard, and I said no, because I already have a mom. I does not like the fact that I talked to my biological mom and said she is my mom because she is at home with me every day and is married to my dad, then called my biological mom a part-timer in my life. I told her no and apologized, but said I could not be her son. Even if my biological mom is a part-timer, she was there for me long before I was. I received an angry scolding for this from both my dad and A has been cold towards me since then. I am struggling to understand this and need to ask anonymously if I was in the wrong here. She has only been around for how long, and she wants to call your mom a part-time mom, laughing out loud, projecting much. Edit, she has been there for an eighth of the original poster's life. She should try to see where she can fit, not forcing a square peg through a round hole. Besides, we all know it's all going into the square hole.